Hello everyone, welcome back to RSF1 Racing. Today, Division 4, the last race of the week round Azerbaijan. It's a very technical track, can prove difficult for quite a lot of drivers. We'll see if anyone gets claimed by that castle sector today. Anyway, I'm Spooky and I'm joined with Musical Rocket on his debut. How are you doing?
I'm doing alright, how are you?
Couldn't be better. You'd love to see the back of a track and then you can go on to the next week.
Canada next
Should be a good one. Canada. What a lovely track.
week. Hopefully it rains.
Oh,
You like the rain?
I do. I love the rain. I mean, it could rain here as well, make it really interesting. It's just that last chicane in Canada.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's next week's problem. We've still got this whole race to get through.
Yeah, so how many
I'm hoping
crashes
that
at Castle?
I'm gonna say 4. I'm just
What?
hoping that timer isn't correct. Which it will be, sorry. I'm delusional, man. I've lost it. Anyway. I'm gonna say 4-5, aye.
Is this in
Get a wee
qualifying
count
and the
up.
race, or just quali, or what are you going for?
Just the race.
Alright.
I feel like folk will take it careful through qualifying to try and get through.
Yeah.
Last thing you want to do is crash out during qualifying.
I'm one for doing that.
Let me think, have I crashed out yet? I think I've crashed. I'm just run here. It was just the invalidation. I was 2 good laps invalidated. Raging in that bit. Stick on a set of softs. They're all good.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll go Saints with the first one. He's a rough couple of weeks recently. Hopefully he can get back on form and maybe chase down Toxic at the top. I think he's clear by 20 points.
Quite like his helmet. It's quite nice to go with the
Kinda
big
goes
car.
with the car.
Yeah.
Yep. I tried to match mine, but try to get the exact orange for the McLaren. It's just horrific.
God.
Maybe one day.
He'll get it one day.
When I can be bothered to sit down and spend about half an hour to get that exact match. It would be lovely, but here we are.
Did you want to go for a hot lap on this one then?
I'll just take us through a quick lap with Alco, and then we can just see quite a couple of drivers have now came out.
Yeah.
Anyway, down the long straight you go. You can go to the kitchen, make a sandwich while you go down this straight. Or get a drink, whatever you like anyway. Crossing the line to start the lap, turn 1 up, not to use the curb and going very deep. Anyway, we move on. Into turn 2, using the curb, using all that traction on the right, going towards the wall, not quite hitting it. Taking his time certainly. DRS straight pushing up to turn 3. Not using the curb there either, using the curb on the inside and then using it on the outside. Carry as much speed as possible. I would recommend avoiding that curb on the inside. It can throw you into the wall quite easily. But not to use the curb on the inside. I wouldn't touch any of the curbs either. They can chuck you into the wall. The track is well known for that. You can cut this corner really tight, opt not to use it as much. Up to Castle though. Nicely done. Didn't see any loss of wing there, nice and tight in the exit. On to what, the triple left-hander now? We've got one left and we've got another. Hard brakings are up here, don't want to hit the wall but want to get round as neat as possible, which he does. Bit wide there, pushing out, but kept it valid, so like a decent lap. Round here, full throttle, down the straight. Round the technical last corner, get the DRS on, now onto the line he goes. Just looking like a 40, is that a 40? 39.7, lovely.
I'm going to point
Nice
out that was faster than my lap time at this track. Oh god.
has a Chris to the line now. He's in the 40.6s.
That's not bad from Chris early on.
Yeah, good to get a little lap in quickly. See where you stand and then go out near the end or whatever. Right. Primus backing off of his lap, interestingly. Meanwhile, Barry put himself in P2 there. Is that? I thought like the fish sticks. He's out on that. So I do believe we've got a couple of new drivers. DPS Racing, I do believe he's new. And I do believe we've got a couple of replacements. Yep, Kachow did come in for Yuki Demons and Alpha Tauri. And Bang Your Head, interesting name, takes the Williams, doesn't appear to be here currently.
Yeah, top 6 next one across the line. And he's gone fastest. That's
By
really
much, but
impressive.
I do expect it to be nice and tight up the top end today. I don't know what time we should be expecting at the end of Q1, maybe a 39.5 maybe. As you can see though, it's usually the two racing points usually lock out the front row and Toxic usually comes in and splits them up. Then you never know. Who's next to cross the line?
They think it's fish sticks. Don't quote me on that thing.
Fish sticks used the curb quite nicely to maximise the track. Down the back straight, this straight, very long, very good for overtakes, very good for burning all your ERS as well. Anyway, where can he put himself? P4 for 40.6.
Oh my god, this is close.
I'm sure it'll get even closer at the end.
Yeah, I think Button will be the next one. He's on the main start finish straight coming to the line.
There we go.
On board the Ferrari.
Get that DRS and push yourself to the line. 4th place for him. Torn the shoes backed out of his lap, looks of it.
Yeah, he's got a lot of damage, so in pitting expect.
Yep, can be quite easy to pick up the damage rounds here. Alco going for another one, looks like he's going to go faster. He does, 39.5.
Already got the battle of P1.
Oh, Kiris makes straight into the wall there. Will he finish up? I don't know, he's in his outlap. Will he pit? I would expect him to pit. But yeah, he sticks it in the pit.
Keeping an eye on Old Manzi though, he's coming around the last couple of corners now. In the Mercedes.
So what do you think? What's the chance of rain?
Of rain?
It's looking quite clear right now, but you know the game, it can turn pitch black in the space of 2 seconds.
Well, DPS has said in chat that it is going to rain at the end of the race. That's towards the end.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, so let's see what these people have changed their setups, or they've gone full dry. We'll see what happens.
Do you have wet setups and dry setups?
Oh yeah, I always deal with that kind of thing. Do you?
Nah, I wing it with my dry setup.
You struggle in the wet though. You're much quicker wet setup.
I don't know, I find it quite... I don't know. Never been bothered to go make a wet setup of that, so... It'd probably benefit me in a lot in the long term in that, but... Hey ho. Obviously, your first time doing the co-comms with RSF1, Have you got a favourite team?
Oh. Not really. Not these cars anyway. With next season's cars. I don't know really. I haven't looked at the liveries.
Don't know, I think I'd have to McLaren.
You got
They're
the
quite
orange.
strong this year by the looks of it. Got some jump practice. Mason puts himself in P3.
Yeah, that's a nice lap from Mason. Get that one done.
Mason got his first podium last week.
It's his birthday race, I think this one is. I think we're classing this one as
Yeah.
birthday race. Not sure.
Oh, I could. Barry, is that a crash? That's what's in the pit.
Yeah. That's very early on now.
Must feel quite confident.
I suppose only 2 cars go out, so you would be kind of confident with P4, but you know what these drivers are like.
You never know, down in Div 4 it can always change with the click of your fingers. It's crazy, then almost hit the wall.
Yeah, that was a
Heading
mistake.
That is quite a tough braking zone, you really need to swing the car in, avoid both walls, get the foot down. But in the end I think it's a very good track. You have a favourite track?
China.
China?
Yeah, only because I'm quick around that.
That makes sense.
Oh, Senna really chucking his car in sideways into that last couple of corners. Really going for this. Oh! Well, that's not gonna help.
He's got no front wing.
Yeah.
Not a bit of wing. Lucky to get away with that. If that was me, I'd probably DNF'd. Start watching the rest of qualifying.
So yeah, he's got quite lucky to get off of that. Cornish coming to the line now.
Yep.
4/10 faster.
Noob getting a big lock up there, almost hitting the wall. And again.
And Charles got himself into P6.
I do believe Kuchel joined Div 4 this week. I think this might be his first race. We'll soon see what he can do.
Yeah. I really hate castles actually because of how tough it is. You have to full commitment while you're in the wall.
Yeah, everything I went through it in the race, especially heart sank. You just thinking, I've got to nail it. I can't opt out of it. Like once you commit to it, you have committed. So that split second where you can decide, am I going to run off, am I going through it? Good thing is, Ghosts on, so if they crashes there during the race or that, I'm not going to cause a traffic jam.
I quite like ghosting off no matter what track it is, just so it shows what proper drivers can be like when it's avoiding incidents on street circuits. But of course, then you have the problem with pileups in this.
Yeah, it's just imagine if somebody parked it in Castle Sector.
That wouldn't go that well.
It'd be terrible. I mean, all the drivers behind them probably get disqualified for just being sat in the track.
Jamie got himself into
Kuchel's going
P8.
quicker. Oh, he ran out of fuel just towards the end, just put himself behind his teammate. Just looking good for the AlphaTauri team and the Racing Point.
Has DPS left the track yet? Like at all? I don't think he has.
Maybe it's some sort of strategy.
What, wait till the very end or start last?
I mean, the end of the qualifying, I would say the track's more rubbered up, more grippy. And if you're confident enough to run on one lap, then so be it, I guess.
It is enjoyable watching the cars go through castles, especially it's scary, it's got a bit of enjoyment in it as well.
Alpo Saints retires in the pit, feeling quite confident. Three minutes to go, but expecting most of the drivers to start coming out soon.
Toxic and Chris giving each other a slipstream, that was went wrong because Chris braked.
Chris also just joined the Haas team last week. Toxic ran solo for the first 6 races.
Ooh, Toxic hit the wall there. That's not going to do him any favours in this qualifying.
I mean, if you ask me, you could probably just pit, retire.
Yeah, the ones to watch out for is Senna and Aika? I don't know how to pronounce that name.
What one are we talking about?
P16.
Oh, Icharismic.
Yes.
That's what you usually say anyway.
Charisma. I'll get used to it.
Yeah.
Over a period of time.
Or just charismatic, however you like it.
Then needs to get his lap together.
DPS Racing, just coming out the pit, leaving it nice and late.
CrossFit coming to the line. Is this going to be enough to bump him out? Well, it should be for now. Will it be at the end? To the line. P9. Is that enough for now,
Looking
then?
quite safe. Is that Toxic the next one to come across the line? No, looks like he's going to hop into the pit. I think who else is on our lap just after him?
Senna?
Manzi. I think Manzi's the next to cross the line. Or Senna, sorry. And Manzi.
Senna's got
Senna moves himself up a little bit. Manzi still remains in the drop zone.
Ah, and he's
got
bottled
enough
turn
time
one.
Got enough time just to, if he flees from the track, shows with that he needs fuel and get going for one last attempt.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I wouldn't want to be in 12th to 17th right now.
Stuff can change real quick. If you're on, let's just say P10, I think from after P10 you should always go out just to make sure they're secure, then you can shift everything about real quick.
Going down to the
Fish
last
is
minute.
validated. I think he's going to go for one more lap. He's in the danger zone, the drop zone. Well, if the EPS goes faster out Manzi, he will be out. He's got one last attempt to push himself up the grid.
This car can get so sideways. It's amazing to watch.
With that medium traction, you can really chuck the car in the corner, just kind of flows.
Ferrari's next one across the line. Button.
E4.
And then Chris went P10.
Mason on an outlap. Interesting, I'm pretty sure he could have just sat in the pit. Timing that perfectly though. He will be the last car to...
Manzi's out of qualifying, so that's P16. Unless DPS can improve here.
And Fish Sticks is in front of DPS as well. He'll be looking to edge that little bit further up.
So DPS cross line first, and this thing's got a purple sector for me anyway.
Fish Sticks setting into the third sector, looking quite fun. Push to the line, get that DRS on, and hopefully push himself up a little bit further. And does. DPS in his first lap and his last lap. P8.
So now it's
Primus
about
now.
Primus and Senna.
Yeah, he's 6 tenths up this time, sorry, so he should be moving himself up.
Wow.
P3.
Oh, Chris has binned at a castle.
Is he out?
Nice,
Still
quite
there.
lucky. If he was out, he would have been out of qualifying, the next qualifying as well.
Yes, when you're safe, you don't want to take that risk, but then sometimes it has to be done.
That was a good qualifying session.
Quite close up the top currently.
So who's your bet for the win then?
You can never tell. You can never make a random guess. I mean, currently you're seeing Cornish and Alcosaints making that front row lockout. Cornish with a 4/10 clear of his teammate, and his teammate's just off of getting passed by Primus, so could be very interesting. Some of these drivers might not have been pushing to their full potential, so if Cornish keeps that consistency and time up, I expect to see him in the front row, but never know.
Yeah, can he do that in the race? So
Cornish having a rough couple races in the past, with being like a front row at the start and then unfortunately crashing out. Not what you want to be doing, but welcome to F1 anyway. Qualifying one's finished and two people out, Old Manzi and Craigie Senna.
look how close they're between Graydon and Senna there.
Yeah, it's very close. One teammate gonna knock the other one out. Did they play it by team?
Yeah.
I guess we'll never know. Due to, will folk try for the mediums?
I think some might, and then they're gonna all go to softs. I think that's gonna be the way it's gonna go.
That's usually how it goes round. Everybody gets in the mediums, then guy in last goes in soft, second last goes in soft, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember actually being in Q2 or Q3. Not been there for a long time. Dear.
Well, you can, if you maintain and can keep the mediums quite well, you can ultimately lap about 17, 18. You get on the softs and then go to the ends. It can be a medium soft for some drivers, if they can get the mediums through, that is, or soft hard still works quite well. Especially with the chance of a safety car, quite high round about here.
Yeah, the hearts. I don't think the hearts is the way to get around here.
I don't mind though, I know we're alright.
I did notice that Gray
see-
had lagged out, so I just re-invited him. He's back into the session.
Good. He's in the session, so.
Yeah.
Yep, about half the drivers already on the mediums and pushing out the pit.
I would want to be pushing like this early on with those mediums then.
This track was that a car off?
That was
That's Chris?
Chris. Yeah.
In the runoff. Don't burn out them mediums too quick.
It's Mason who's going to be the first one across the line then.
Yep. It will be. I expect about a 41. I think actually. A 40.5. I reckon that might be the mediums.
They really nail a lap, I reckon. Around about there to 0.3.
Yeah.
Let's see what they get up to.
Mason letting Cornish pass. Cornish on the softs.
I would be
Pause
saving
his
those.
softs. Yeah, that it could be going to the. Some drivers sometimes put on the old tyres, hop out, set a banker. I usually have to do that in Q3. Most tracks.
Yeah, I spend like 3 laps on the same tyre in Q1, and then I'll go for the second set. And then for
Yeah.
Q2, then.
Would you like to take us through a lap with Cornish?
Yeah, I can do that. Right, heading up to turn 1, you'll hit the board on the right hand side, hit the apex here, using the curb on both sides here on the exit, out the corner, exactly how you want to do it. Into turn 2, you want to hit that board again, hitting the apex, exactly like this, into the DRS activation point. Using as much DRS as possible on this straight. I don't know the names of any of these because Google's rubbish. Heading up to this left hand, there we go, then into turn 3, you want to hit that board again, hit the apex again. Do you want to clip that wall? He's very close to that wall, that might cost him a tenth or two because he kind of backed away from it. Heading to this right hand and then turn 5, I believe that one is, onto the exit just like that. Pretty neat lap so far, heading into sector 1, out sector 1 and into sector 2 he goes. Misses the apex slightly, hits the curb on the inside, that's really going to cost his lap here. And it's not going to be one of those lap times he's going to want to look back on, I don't think, at the moment anyway. Hitting into this right hand and hit the curb exactly how you want to. Next up is castle section, one of the trickiest corners on the track. How can he nail this section? He gained or lose his time through here and he's just about kept the car together. Going to his left-hander then onto the exit again. Tricky here with the curb and the runoff. He could exceed track limits there, but he's lucky to get away with it. Now heading through his fast left-hander, hitting the apex there again. Watch out for the cars on the inside. They're staying out the way. Good job. Now heading to this very, very hard, tricky left-hander. Use as much curb on the inside as possible and on the outside to get the perfect rotation. Exactly how he's done it. A couple of quarters to go in his lap then. Turned in slightly too early. He's building up the momentum here onto this back straight. Well, start-finish straight, should I say. Heading into the last 2 corners there, plus the corner, and into the last corner. Can he keep the momentum? He's hit the wall there on both sides. And I think he might just continue this going to the line. I would personally, just because it's a lap time. But it depends what corners he's going to do here. I think he's just going to keep this out here. Getting to the line is the most important thing. Set yourself a benchmark of 39.3. Still impressive considering he hit that wall.
And Dave Mason closely followed just behind for 41.2 on the mediums. Roughly how I expected it to go. And the gamer put himself up there as well. Yep, Racing Point 1-2 yet again, both on the soft tiles from now.
2 hash boys
next to the line.
Yep.
A little bit of a throw maybe. Pistols himself from 7th.
That all eyes from Kachow coming on to this long start finish straight. Is he going for this lap? I don't think so. I think he's backed out and he has.
And to the pit he goes.
That's your first lot of lap times then.
The noob gamers on the wall at one of the runoff areas.
Oh yeah. Thankfully that hasn't distracted Toxic, who is on a lap here.
I know you can get very distracted by cars just sitting there, you never know what might happen. Jamie would be the next to the line, but he's invalidated.
So is it just Toxic left on lap then? I believe so.
I do think so. I believe both the racing points might pit. Both looking very close and very confident up top there. Quite a lot of drivers using that curbing inside to mount over it.
It's risky
though. Like that. I felt like the car unstable in the exit and might have pushed into the wall. Just nicely done round the outside, I think. Anyway, Toxic coming round the fast left right onto the long straight, get that DRS activated. Where can he put himself? Getting a toe off his teammate certainly. P4, good lap.
Full second faster as teammate, that's going to give him some confidence.
Is that button?
He's got damage on his
The
front
next
wing.
one. Indeed, that might prove a little difficult one round here. Manages it rather well, all being that damage. To the line though, where can he put himself on these softs?
A lot of damage to his front wing though.
P3.
Slowest for the soft runners so far though.
Yep, 1 of 3 drivers in the softs currently. I do believe this will end up just being drivers getting afraid of being knocked out and sticking on the softs. You can see Barry in the pits already done that. He's got the softs ready to go.
DPS doing his original strat from earlier, staying in the pit lane as long as possible.
Starting the mediums, which is quite interesting. Is he going to try a late lap with the mediums? Could be risky, but it could pay off in the end.
Primus coming to the line then. Is he going to improve on his lap time? He does.
Maintains that P7, nope. We got Charismatic, yep, Charismatic coming. Pushing to the line, no, not to the line yet. Left, right, can very easy to push into that wall sometimes. And the speed of the car slides out. Clouds are coming over a little bit right now. We did hear we've not got rain till the end of the race. Did we see some in Q3?
It's a huge possibility, as Charismatic has gone into P6 now.
Of course we do have Canada to look forward next week. You could say we're off the street circuit, still very tight. Especially that last chicane. The face hitting that wall, and it's a long lap round to get back into the pit.
Yeah, Grade has done
in Canada.
a quicker lap than Chris there across the line. But he's just in the top 10.
Both Ferraris up top. Third and fourth currently. Just behind Racing Point.
Yeah, it's very much
off now.
So do you get slipstream round tape by your teammate, or do you say go separate ways, or do you do round tape?
Depends. Sometimes it's a bit of slipstreaming if he's there. Of course I would like to pay him back sometimes, but different timing and then coming out the pit can benefit, you can also ruin you sometimes.
Yeah, I did
quite a lot, but then if you're very close to your teammate in the corners, of course that dirty air could force you into one of the walls.
I did a F2 race here a while ago, and I was using someone's slipstream, and I hit them along the start-finish straight, and it gave me a 5-second penalty for it. So I'll never use a slipstream again.
Yeah, you can get very close and it can give you that penalty. Welcome to F1 though. Very reliable, very fun game.
Can be.
It has its moments.
Most games do nowadays.
Yeah, indeed.
Bishtick got himself into top 10. Jamie's next one across the line, gets himself P8. The fastest last sector in that Williams, so he's looking good for that.
Quite a lot of drivers like the Noob Gamer currently on the mediums and P4, pushing out on the softs. I'm feeling confident in where he's located.
Great has hit the wall there. I don't know if that would have given him damage, like a small amount, maybe line damage, but that is enough round here to cost you most of your lap. See though.
Leaving it quite late, it might just have enough time to get back to the pit and then get back out again, cutting it tight, but possible. Corner shouting out of the lap as well. Think that's necessary coming out. Oh, Vinny.
Yeah, that was a good save.
A little bit of Tokyo drift there, showing us how it's all done. Oh, hits the wall again just there.
Yeah, you need to be careful about that. You only get a certain amount of front wing before your wheel goes.
Luckily we haven't seen any retirements yet during qualifying. Hopefully that will stay the same for the race as well, but get very chaotic in the race. And I don't think, and also hope that no one goes to try and go too wide through the castle sector.
That's the best bit.
Got some crazy drivers.
Yeah, I tried it and it didn't quite work out. So I tried it into the corner before on 2 cars and that didn't work out either.
The Noob Gamer puts himself in P3.
Chow starting his lap. He really needs to get this one together.
Interesting. DPS just came out the pit just there, as we thought, on the mediums. Jamie retiring in the pit.
Do you think that's enough then?
Wouldn't think so. Most drivers behind are on the mediums. Both those two, Chris and Kachow, are both on the softs currently. So enough to put them at P10, which would be the drop zone. And Noob Gamer back in that wall again in the runoff area.
Cornish
noticed Barry's putting himself
validated.
in between the two Ferraris. Cornish.
So that's
Pretty
not.
sure you could just pit. Jamie in the chat, he doesn't want to be in the top 10.
You want to be in the mid pack?
Are you going first? Are you going for a strategy?
I want to be on the mid pack then. That's even more sketch.
Especially around here, it's turn 1 and 2, drivers trying to make up positions. Both Ghosting's on in turn 1, so you can go through folk, but it can be scary sometimes. You never know when they're going to unghost. Fishstick's also retired in the pit.
Oh, Primus in the wall. Is that his qualifying over and done with then? That's huge damage, so I'm expecting that to be the end of his qualifying.
Mason Dunks, who's came back out on the medium tyre, looking to maybe try and get through in the mediums. Top 6 all in softs currently.
Yeah, it's interesting, the split in the midfield here.
Tris pushes himself up to P6 just there. Teammate just behind.
Mason's next one in the drop zone across the line is basically going to improve. Nobody's going to start on the lap, I expect.
Looks like he's on another up. Looks like he's just backed out. P11 can be quite a good position to start. You get the fresh tyres just to attack. You could say. Looks like Graded Vinny's just got to miss out. Mistimed that a little bit.
Yeah, that's not great for his qualifying.
Yeah, that'll be the end for him currently. Got Toxic to the line. There we go, top 39 flat. And Toxic, who's behind that Cornish? That's Apple Saints, who's just hit the wall.
Yeah, that's costly. Oh, Cornish and Signs both hit the wall at once. I was a bit confused there.
DPS Gamer on the mediums coming down the straight now. This will be his only chance to get into the top 10. Can they beat a 41-1? Put himself up there, knock Primus out.
Gonna be tight.
Something quite fast. Yep, yes he can. Very good lap for him. Top of the medium runners. Is anybody else going to finish a lap? Is Alco, looks like he's backed out of his lap. Tris looks like he's backed out also.
Yeah, I think everyone's backed out now.
It does look like that, so anyway. As we wait on folk to
Simpson's left
went to the
session.
pit.
We'll get him back in.
Remember how Jamie was saying that he wanted to start out with the top 10? Unlucky for some, starting 10th.
It's not a bad thing though, to be honest with you, P10. Because now at least you're on the softs.
Yeah, what he said in the chat was he was hoping to start on P11 and then start on the hards, which you could probably maintain until what we're expecting to be rain.
Yeah.
So we just wait for Mason Dunks to retire. As we say that, he does so.
Just try and get pole position now, Jamie, because you're on those mediums. You need to get as high as possible.
Yep, there you have it, the end of Q2. Knocked out, we've got Kachow, Graded Vinny, Fish Sticks, Mason Dunks and Primus. Only 3 drivers making it through in the mediums, DPS Racing his debut, Charismatic and Jamie. It'll be interesting to see where I can put myself in Q3. Jamie's also saying that he's got 2 laps on them mediums, so yeah, I think I done 2 as well, and they held up. That's why I didn't actually have to qualify in softs, yeah, that would out. Patch me. I do believe it's not that bad if you can hold them out.
How often do you expect there to be a
Hopefully
safety car?
strategy. Oh, I'm hoping they don't repeat Netherlands. They had 4 safety cars in the space of about 10 laps. Safety car after safety car.
Ouch, what happened at that track?
So somebody went off up the uphill in the second sector, and then the restart, somebody crashed out in the straight, a car hit him. It was wet at the same time, so it didn't make it any better or any easier for anybody else. And then it just kind of went on from there, same on, till the last one, and with about 5 laps left. Toxic noticing a mistake that he could have done. He could have went through the mediums but qualified on them softs. Got Jamie, the first person out. He'll be looking to secure a front row place. Is that a car off already? Yep.
Oh!
Let's
And
hit
it's
the wall a little
re-entry's
bit.
hit the wall.
As I was saying, Jamie will want to get that front row since he's on the medium, so you don't want to be getting swallowed up by the potential drivers behind. If you're at the back end of the pack, but I do suspect most drivers who don't make it or haven't made it through will start on mediums or hards knowing the weather.
Would you try and risk the hards then if you knew it was going to rain at the end, or would you kind of go with normal strat and just see how the rain affects it later on?
It's always a risk. I mean, if you fit on the hards and you get damaged in the first lap, then strategy ruined. You need to make sure you're in a comfortable position and you know that you can avoid damage at all costs. And with the ghost on in the first corner, you can still get damage. It turns on just through turn 1, and then through turn 2 I believe it turns back off again, so you can get pushed into the wall as Jamie tapped the wall just there. Don't think you get much damage. Will they continue?
Might give him lime, so he might...
He's edging toward the pit.
It's me annoyed
So
about
who'll be
that.
the first one? Barry.
Do you want to go for a hot lap with Barry then?
We can do. Down the straight, here we go. Pushing towards the line, got that DRS and ERS burning up. Turn 1, using all that curb in the exit, swinging it round, using the curb on the inside and the exit, making sure to maintain as much speed as possible into turn 2. Avoiding the curb nicely, hitting the apex, beautiful. Then the second straight DRS here, good option for a move. So you've got the speed into turn 3, using the curb on the right, bumping over the one on the left. Wouldn't recommend, but do how you like. Slight lock up into turn 4, but still maintaining decent pace. Bit wide there and a massive lock up in the front left tyre. Avoiding the curb and the exit, I do believe that can slow you down quite a bit. Using that corner cut quite nicely, pushing towards castle section. Nicely done. And on the exit you can get a bit of oversteer here very easily. And he's now got the gearbox glitch, so it sounds beautiful. If I go off and back on, does it fix it? Nope. We'll just stick with it anyway. Opting to go round that curb roughly, but a big lock up. While doing so, the tyres were a bit worn, but still pushed to the line. The fast left right hander here can be easy to go into the walls, so quite a good couple of drivers do already. Maintaining good speed, pushing down to the straight. He'll be getting that DRS activated and pushing the line to try and secure himself in that front row. What can he do? 30.94. But isn't it closely behind a 40.6 as he goes off to the runoff area.
Yeah, he hit the wall at the beginning of his lap twice, so it wasn't going to be the best of run for it, isn't it? So expect more from him.
Should do. The noob gamer to the line now. Where's he going to put himself P2 for 39.5? One of the racing points, both of them actually. Cornish first, puts himself in first. Alcosage's just behind. Can he lock that front row? He can indeed. A 39.1 and a 39.2. Button put himself up in P5 just there. These racing points looking quite racy around here.
Yeah, the Ferrari's racing points and Barry, the ones we look out for, along with Toxic. I think all these 10 drivers could actually get pole here.
Yes. DPS out in a lap. Doing what he hasn't done for the past laps.
Yeah, he's out early. What's he doing here then?
As Jamie just started his second lap after having to pit with bad damage.
Oh, that wall.
It'll be interesting to see when the rain comes.
Science has left again.
I do believe 3 times.
And
And then you have to retire. It can be dangerous for other drivers having that AI car on track. Hopefully it doesn't have to come to that though. DPS hitting the wall a little bit in the exit of turn 3.
so Jamie and DPS using more than the track.
Indeed they are. You don't know that coming in the exit. I'm surprised we haven't saw a car hit the castle yet.
Oh no, don't say that. DPS is next.
Cutting it close but making it through. Will this be the division that doesn't claim a driver?
What's Jamie gonna do then?
Yes. Jamie's to the right.
Very committed.
So he fueled the car up perfectly for this lap. Pardon me. Don't last all the lap.
Oh, that's a surprise. And DPS is invalidated, so he can't go for another one.
Yeah, validated in his first lap, now he's second. He'll be getting into the pits, maybe fit a new set of tyres.
Well, Toxic then, is I think he's the only one on lap, and he's just invalidated, so I spoke to him. Commentator's curse. I think it'll be Barry next up.
I think he's just taking his time, he's got a fuel light up as well, I'm pretty sure he'll be pitting. Do any of these drivers get into the 38s?
I reckon either of the racing points could do it.
Yeah, I suppose it's always that big debate. I believe most drivers in here could do it. Toxic winding up for a lap, leaving it quite late to start his lap. Most drivers like to go flying through there. Or is he pitting? Looks like he's going to pit.
This isn't Jamie's first pole position. Apparently his last pole position didn't give him the luck he needed.
Back in Spain he got dashboarded and he was sat in the guy got dashboarded I believe and had to leave.
Oh really?
Yeah, then the race went downhill from there. Ended up unfortunately retiring and as he said got to his bed.
Ouch.
It hurts.
Who's gonna go for a lap then?
Well, I've got Alco Saint sitting in an outlap quite early. Maybe try to regain that top spot off of Jamie. I think this will be very close near the end. I think most drivers will be getting into the 39.1s, and then I reckon 2 or 3 drivers might get into the 38s or the 39 flats.
I will say what's interesting though, unlike the other drivers, S04 started the RS a long way past the last couple of corners, so saving your rest on the straight before really going for it his lap time.
Don't think ERS is really a problem in your laps and temperature. You can do if you start your ERS from the fast left right, you can do 2 laps and it will still be about 10% near the end. Maybe I might go for a 3rd lap, we'll soon see I guess.
Got some local yellows.
It's just like a car letting somebody past. 2 minutes to go, Cornish taps the wall, doesn't look like any visible damage. Looks like he might have backed off his lap as well.
So it'd be Chris then who's next one. So far looking good.
That's the wrong Ferrari. Button, no he's not in the lap. My mistake, anyway Chris.
Well, that's interesting. He was using gear 2 in the castle section. I've been gear 3 pretty much.
Yeah, get into gear 5, just knuckle straight before it. Double down, gear 3 up, and then the exit. Gear 2, that was my favourite. Very nicely cut that corner though.
Yeah, it was very neat. Ah, he's missed that last corner.
Bit wide. He has got time to go for another lap and has got a heap of ERS. Those purple seconds, this could be a good lap. Hopefully he can challenge for the top as well.
See what he can do here.
Get all his DRS, maybe he might go for another lap.
Oh.
P6, did that exit to the end, losing that potential time. Charismatic looks like he's backed out of a lap and got a low fuel, so that he might be P8 currently. Toxic and DPS still to set laps though. The noob gamer,
yeah,
he's given a right good pull to, is that Cornish? Nope, that's Alcosense.
Oh,
Yep, Alcosense retakes that lead.
Still 20
Not
seconds.
too sure if, yeah, I'm not too sure if the noob gamer's working along with Alcosense, gave him a nice big pull along that straight. Button to the right. E5 for button. Of course,
And he's...
no, he hasn't. Mixed up with last season's car, so who's next? Is that Cornish? It will be 3/10 down in his time. That'll put himself looking like a 38. Could be, if he can nail this last sector. Done very well, so he's closely followed behind Toxic though. Can he? Seems to put himself first again. I think Cornish might put himself first.
Oh,
Yep, 38.
nice. Toxic next to the line.
Second.
39.
DPS on his
Oh no!
first.
Got a bidder at the castle. You spoke too soon. New gainer's binned it.
DPS on his first and his last lap. P6 for him. Chris Pitts. Oh,
Ah, James got an unlucky invalidation there.
unfortunate for Jamie. So anyone else start to finish on that? Well, Alco looks like he may be on again. Can they get that front row lockout? Ah, now he's down near his time.
No, he had to slow down because of the new gamer's car in the castle section.
Ah, unfortunate. And so, Button, who looks like he's finished for today. The noob gamer's also out. That's looking like it though. Toxic in that sandwich are the 2 racing points. As now we wait for the drivers to retire.
That was an interesting Q3.
Very interesting. Look at the times, very close at the top there. hopefully we'll see that same sort of pace and a big long DRS train full of action for the whole race. After that Monaco race last week was certainly interesting to say the least. Anyway, Cornish takes top, closely followed behind Tux BMW and Alco Saints in P3, Jamie starting P4, Barry in P5, DPS in P6, Button in P7, the Noob Gamer in P8, Chris in 9th and Charismic in 10th. Jamie, one of those starting in the medium, so that'll be a not so bad place to start for him. If folk behind going there on the softs, it could be swallowed up real quick off the line. Hopefully he can hold them off and stick to his strategy.
Yeah, it's going to be a long race, so anything can happen in this one.
Anything can happen. It was Div 3, it took to about the last 10-15 laps to get a safety car. So it could be the same round here, it could not be. Looking nice and sunny now, I believe we will see them clouds. Toxic MW's been kicked, can you invite him back please?
Yes. Although I've stood the old-fashioned way and recently played with. You have to wait till the 5 red lights, won't you now? So that's going to be a nightmare.
If he can't get in, if he can't take control of his car during the just before, then you will have to wait.
Oh, that's messed up his fuel load though, and his strategy.
Oh dude, it's horrible.
There's always one person that lags out going from here to the race though.
Yeah, it's always unfortunate. It's usually the top runners as well. Somebody's readied up quite early. Cornish.
That would be a
That's
penalty,
interesting.
wouldn't it?
That will be.
Do we just to make note of that? Or will someone else make a note of that?
I was going to go through the standings and the little gap we had, but we don't have that gap no longer.
Yes.
Anyway, would you like to take us through from the back?
Yeah, we can start from back if you want. Just gonna get on my dashboard and that all up and then we'll get going with this one. So, Hardcore Tyre. Interesting one for old Manzi here from the back of the grid, especially as turn 1 usually causes a bit of damage, so I wonder if he's going to take it really easy here, not really push too much. P16 going to Craig Senna on the medium compound tyre, so a little bit softer, so he's probably going to really risk it on those mediums to try and get past the person from of RSF1 Chow in the AlphaTauri in the hard compound tyres. In front of him is Grader Vinny. Chow's going to want to get past him once again on the hard compound tyres. So there's a real mix here in the field of which compound to start on. Someone's gone up the escape road, that was Barry. P13 is Fish Sticks in the McLaren driver. Nice little helmet there as well for the car. Personally, do I think it suits it? No. P12 going to Mason on the Hakova tyre in the AlphaTauri as well. And then P11 is the Mercedes driver of Primus. P10 is Chris, who is lagged out, I think. It was a cross next to his name, so we might have to get him back in for the race here. And that is Chris in P9. P10 was a Casmex, something like that. P8 going to the new gamer. I think someone's crashed at Castle. This is turning out to be quite an interesting formation lap, but I have to admit. P7 going to the other Ferrari driver, RSF1 Button, up beating his teammate here. So that's good qualifying by himself. P6 debut driver, DPS Racing. See what he can do as well as Barry. P5, but pretty much dead last because of his escape road problems earlier on. Jamie P4 in this one. He's going to be looking to do well on those medium compound tyres, the front of the medium compound tyres as well, so that's definitely going to help him in that favour. P3 going to the second racing point in this one, of Alcro Science. I think I spelled that wrong, let's see. Toxic MW in the Haas, P2 then, and XR Cornish going for this one. Let's see what you can do from the pole position here at Baku.
Both Haases seem to have lost connection, so not good in that team's side right now. We have seen Jamie and Alco Saints retire. The tyre temps can drop down, I believe, so maybe a little bit cold off this start. Hopefully not those who wait for the drivers to come line up. Hopefully the two Hassies can take control of the car real quick.
That was a messy formation lap from the guys.
And hopefully we get to see some red lights, because the last thing I want to see is a restart.
Yeah, see how this one goes. Obviously Cornish going to try and get the whole shot into turn 1, but Toxic in the AI car as well. I don't think it's going to be able to do much.
If they can get back in control of the car. So the car, so it looks like they might have just got in control of it just in time though. So lights are still... There we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights are out and away we go. Cornish looking like they got a decently good start ahead of Toxic. Alco looks like he's following close behind. Yep, Alco's just slotted in. Looks alright in the turn 1. See a bit of bashing and turning back there.
Yeah, I think that's
Looks
the
like
centre's
got a
gone
Red Bull
around.
off. My timing pages have messed up. From what I can see, Cornish and Alco Saints taking the lead off the start and Toxic just behind.
Yeah, Jamie's hit the wall here. On those new tyres, that's the worst start for him.
It's not too good for him. Looking like a decent start from everybody else. So we've got a Haas off, that'll be Chris at the back. I'm just hoping my timing pages get sorted quicker so I can see position changes and who's went up and who's went down. Anyway, first person to take us through the castle section in the race, we've got Cornish. Takes it nice and easy. Lemdy, hit it. Oh, Jamie.
Ah, Jamie's
lost
race
his
is
right
going
wing.
bad to worse here for his front wing.
It looks like all drivers apart from one unlucky Jamie got damaged during the castle sector just there. Graded Vinny a bit further back. That spin off the start.
Ah, it's Vinny, not Senna, my apologies.
It's all good. Anyway, position changes are shown currently. Alco Saints managed to gain up 1 just in front of Toxic, who went down. The noob gainer with a good start, 4 positions up, same with Charismatic, 5 up. Jamie down 2, DPS down 2, Primus up 3. Button down 1, got an overtake happening at the back there. Button just got past Jamie, Jamie looks like he's going to pit, but Primus is putting DPS under pressure. Oof. Primus breezes past DPS, a big gap in the middle here.
Oh!
DPS just slots him behind.
Yeah, it's Krasnu, and I think it was Noob Gamer just made a bit of contact there on the exit of turn 1. Thankfully, Noob Gamer managed to save that one. That could have been there.
Three drivers in the pits, Jamie, Kachawa and Button.
Do you reckon they'll
Both
go to
hoping to get
Hearts?
right back in the race. If we do expect the rain, which we have heard we're going to get, Hards can maybe hold out till the rain comes in. And then they can get a better off than everybody else.
Yeah, perfect start for 2 racing points there.
Indeed it was. Charismatic managed to hold on them mediums, currently holding off the noob game on the softs. It's a good start from Charismatic.
Oh! Noob Gamer's hit the wall. Big contact on his front right end plate.
It's unfortunate him 5th with that soft head, looking to hold him in for a bit longer. Be interesting to see if he goes for the pit stop or not.
I think he's going to have to. That damage is quite severe, especially around this track.
Old man's quite close to Craigie Sienna, who's quite close to Fish Stick, so we see him move. Looks like Primus might be going for Noob Gamer as well. He's very close up the rear end, on the inside, Noob Gamer closing it off. Ah, Primus had the back out real quick there. But alongside he goes, getting a better run out of turn 2, turn 1, sorry. Primus getting the inside. And the Noob Gamer still coming out on top after turn 2. Primus fighting back yet again. Can I get it into turn 3? He's ahead again. They're getting a brakes late, Primus goes in. Slight bit of contact. This battle's gone forever. Oh, they've been slid into Primus there.
Yeah.
Primus in front.
Oh, he sent it! Oh, this is getting a bit dangerous. DPS is going to get an amazing run on both these drivers. You're going to send it? Not quite.
I wouldn't recommend it. Rebecca Charles unfortunately retired off the start. Not the start he was wanting. DPS Primus and the game are all looking very close now. They're going honestly with that damage.
Oh, Senna's pinned it through Castle.
Safety car.
Yeah, Senna's in a bad location there as well. He had to do a 6-point tap in an F1 car there.
Yeah. Well, the positive is he's still in the session and he's not out. Interesting, we'll see if the top will pit. If we're expecting the rain, they might be able to go on them fresher tyres and now and hold them out. Under the mediums could probably hold out to about lap 20 now. A 26 lap race. Will Cornish and Alco Saints double stack? Will one stay out? Will they both stay out? Cornish in, Alco stays out. Toxic NW decides to pit.
Yeah, well,
Charismatic stays out.
Yeah, I think.
Expect so. Primus making mad moves into lap 4 now and them hard tyres P3 currently for him. A lot of drivers filtering into the pit and that B getting some wing damage sorted. Barry, 5-second time penalty. Ignoring yellow flags, that's not what you want.
An interesting one.
He might have to serve that Johnny's pit stop which will hold him up even more. Luckily, there's a safety car out. Interesting to see what Alco Saints will do. I believe the softs will go for a good 7-8 laps maybe. After a safety car about lap 6. 7 maybe before we get racing again. Hopefully he can maintain his tyres.
Yeah, I think Sight should have pit and gone for the double stack here because he's going to lose a full pit stop now rather than what it would have been in 5 to 10 seconds.
As you can see, most rivals from P3 all the way back to P13 are all put on the hards. If they actually they could go to the end now because the safety car just maintain them well, and then hopefully that'll be the end of safety cars for the day. One's enough. Good start from most. Cornish and Toxic have both dropped down to P7 and 8. Because I do believe, yep, Manzi, Mason, Fishsticks, Primus all stayed out in them hards. All 4 of them drivers getting a good start.
Barry's retired.
Barry has retired. That must have been in the pit. I'm sure. Alco staying very close to this safety car. I never trust being this close to it. So unpredictable. He's slamming the brakes.
Yeah, I've seen a few safety car incidents with a few drivers in my past.
I want to keep a good little gap from it. Almost all drivers have caught up. Craigie saying they'll be the last one to catch up. But the looks of it, next lap this car might be away. We're racing again. This brings the pack right close together again. Good to see all these hard runners race. Can Alco pull a big gap off the start again? Can Charismatic get past them and them medium tyres that he might hold out for until what we expect rain?
Yeah, this is going to help the rain come quicker.
It is indeed. That can also be good for Charismatic because he won't have to pit and then pit again. Button on the mediums at the P14, he'll be looking to maybe get some moves done.
I want to be in Primus's position right now. It's lead of the hards. 2 guys of them have to pit.
Technically the race leader.
And no penalties is
I think Primus was one of the first people last week to unfortunately crash out in Monaco. Can be easily done. Might be looking for redemption here, maybe claim that podium. He is one for the contention of the overall championship.
Button won the Singapore Grand Prix, didn't they?
Button?
Button, did he win the Singapore Grand Prix?
In Monaco?
Yeah, last race for these guys.
Yeah. Button. I know Mason was third, and I believe it was I think it was a stand-in driver for P2, reserve that came in and got that P2.
Okay, so that was good for him on his debut as a reserve.
Yes, unfortunately, I'm not too sure if he keep the points being a reserve racer. Hopefully he does. Hoping to see that safety car in this lap, as we do. Alco Saints will back up the pack, wait until the safety car's safely tucked away in the pit. He's not weaving as much, not getting much heat in the tyres. Try to save them. He's staying quite close to the safety car. Would have thought he would have slowed up a little bit more.
Yeah, if we won't see any of the issues we had last time.
Charismatic alongside, just waiting for that safety car to go in. It's interesting at turn one, a little bit of contact. Looks like one of the Red Bulls has got damage and almost spun round. I believe that would be Vinny.
Oh! Charisma's
Charismatic.
hit the wall, yeah. That's huge damage.
The back of this pack's quite a mess right now.
Yeah.
Contact all over by the looks of it. Charismatic hit the wall again, just more damage for him. This will hold Mason up a bit. Will hold him up for long. See, Alco has already gained almost a 2-second lead, currently 1.6. Primus taps the wall just there. Doesn't look like any damage though.
Oh, Noob Gamer's gone for a huge dive ball next to our Cornish. Side by side into Castle.
Currently Toxic is ghosting through Fish 6.
Oh! Vinny's out. And that's good.
Ah, can we please not reenact Netherlands? Right, I do believe Alco would pit this lap, but unfortunately that'll probably drop him all the way to last place, apart from the couple of drivers who will have to pit for damage, Charismatic being one of those. Will they pit, won't they pit?
And
By the time the safety car
he's hit
ends.
the wall again. I think he did there.
He hit the wall out of turn 2 and then out of turn 4 as well, so I do believe he want to pit. Alco stays out.
Well, that was a late
Charismatic
move into pitting
pits.
him. He was hit the wall again.
Cornish with a penalty just there. 5-second
Yeah.
time penalty for him.
He won't be able to serve that either until next lap.
That's unfortunate. I'm just intrigued about Alco staying out for so long in these tiles. I would have thought he would have pitted.
Yeah, I don't know
They've
how
got
far he's
intermediate
wanting
teams.
to go. They could really do with making a pit stop at some point.
Most drivers in the softs during the week did pit between lap 6 and lap 8, I do believe, so by the time we get racing again, I'd feel bunched up, so if he does pit then, he'll drop right to the back.
If this safety car stay out in a lap, if I was Cornish, I'd pit again for about 5 seconds.
It will only drop him back that one position. He can probably just get back on them hards that he had. Mind you, he might feel racy, but if he has to pit for the inters, he will have to serve that. The Noob Gamer says rain in 10 minutes.
Ooh.
Safety car, a lap under safety car usually lasts about 2 minutes, 2.5 usually. Say 5 minutes for that. And can he hold it for another 5 minutes? That'll be interesting.
Still got a long way to go in this Grand Prix. We've had 2 safety cars and a lot of pit stops.
Division 4. Quite favourite for safety cars usually. I'm just hoping that we can get racing for a good couple laps, maybe the end of the race. No more safety cars would be lovely.
Div 4 is usually my favourite tier though, because although you get all the safety cars, it's usually close racing towards qualifying at the end of Q3 and race during near the end as well.
Yeah, you could say that. So it's just a long race to watch after watching about 10-15 minutes overall of safety car racing.
Oh, he's in? Alco Sainz?
That's interesting to say at the least.
Ah, would you look at that pit window for hards? Wonder if he's gone by what the Delta was saying.
I believe he could have pitted any time before that and pitted the hards bit. Personal preference, he won't come out in last, he come out in second to last. Still quite close to the points.
He's got his teammate in front of him to beat yet.
Teammate does have that 5-second penalty though. Will that affect him at the end of the race? And Jamie said raining 15 minutes, so you never know this game. During qualifying in Div 5 it said there was no rain expected, of course. Clouds came over and it started raining. Can see it's getting a little bit duller from this circuit.
Primus then. Still in the perfect position though is he, because the safety car restarts around here and it's some of the hardest ones you can nail.
I personally would, when it tells you before you enter the long straight, just slow up, sway about, let his car get in, and then try and slow up, so see when it's going through the fast left right, through there, because then nobody can really go side by side and affect you on your run.
Hopefully they will get through castle section during this race this time. There's many calls because they're going side by side and then the guys in the back had nowhere to go, and obviously the wall was just there waiting for Vinny, sadly.
Yeah, it's usually the front. You usually expect under a safety car the front 5 or 6 to get away quite neat. It's usually the back who are scrambling for positions, trying to make up what has been lost. That can cause quite a couple crashes. We do expect to see a safety car in this lap, hopefully. There we are. As I premised, I would start slowing up right now. Looks like he's slowing up a bit more than what Alco Sainz did. Getting heat in the tyres can be really hard to heat up the hard tyres. Like a good bit of rubbing around. Will Mason dunks or even Toxic go for a move into turn 1? Toxic on the fresh or the hard, sorry. The full lap, so looks like Primus is about to go. So safety car in, safety car's just in. Most drivers not being caught napping by it.
I think the one who's going to make the most flags is from Jamie though. It's one probably. Side by side.
Jamie side by side. Getting close to the wall there. DPS maintains that position. Oh, DPS just hit the wall just there. Just not got that leader.
Behind.
Toxic all over the back of Mason. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, up the inside. This left-hander.
Old man says smartly and wisely backs out, and looking behind Cornish and Button, both going side by side. And it turns 4 now, Cornish backs out, just slotting behind Button on the medium tyre. Wouldn't really recommend going for any moves around this part of the track.
I quite like the odd dive bomb into this right-hander.
You could say, but then Trev's not going to take up positions. It looks like Charismatic almost side by side with Jamie there. Wouldn't recommend. I can't see any damage, as I say, that Chris hits the wall.
Ah, he's a bit too soon.
Ah, I should have waited. Alco Saints had a bit of a rough start, but looks like he's up right to the back.
Jamie thought about the dive bomb there, that was risky from Jamie, and he decided back out in the end.
DPS all over the back of Fish 6 really get that move done, and Delta's all gone, so I can't see much.
Yeah. Further back, Senna dive bomb Cornish. Cornish should switch back as well.
A bit of a gap between Noob Gaming and Fish 6. Top 4 kind of pulling away. Looks like we've got a couple moves happening at the back. Craig is staying a pass and
BPS
Cornish shows that he's pitting. Cornish is pitting again.
Yeah. Oh, a lot of them are. Okay. I thought it was clean.
Chris did hit the castle sector, that's all I really saw. Two McLarens in quite good positions right now. Chris looks like he might go for a move in Fish 6 here. All the team orders. Yep, looks like Chris Mc's playing it smart and let his teammate go.
See if you regret that or not by trying to overtake him.
I believe 2 Williams yesterday. Div 5, no, on Tuesday, Div 5 race had a little bit of a collision. Toxic ghosting through Mason now.
Oh, sideways.
A bit of a lost here.
Yeah.
And Cornish almost hitting the wall there, most drivers, top 4 get through safely. I'm just glad to see it, the back 3 who had the pit haven't retired yet.
Keep going until you've properly been it, I suppose. That's my motto. Ah, Jimmy's hit the wall again. Big damage again.
When when the rain comes, the safety car could come alongside, and then you never know what can happen to that. Some drivers love the rain, some drivers hate it.
Ah, what is Jamie going to do now then? Because he's on his hard, he's got wing damage, he's going to pit.
Is it right side or left side? That's right. Yep. Chris Mick going side by side with his teammate. DRS is now enabled. Jamie pits.
So yes, he did regret letting his teammate through.
He's top 4 pulling even bigger and bigger gap each time. Button in the back of Mans looking quite close. You've always had DRS. Manzi doesn't seem to have any. Having quite a lot of ERS.
Maybe he's got a DRS failure.
Maybe. DPS speed in the pit lane and has retired in his debut. That's unfortunate for him, but hopefully he can come back next week and be even stronger. Come back fighting. It's a good bit of fighting here between almost P10 and P5, this little train we've got going. As the top runners have got a healthy gap. For Toxic, some sort of glitch, he's just constantly ghosting after he rejoins the session.
Yeah, everyone pretty much through safely so far, except from the 3 at the back, so...
bit of damage, but it looks like for the Noob Gamer. Is that? Yep, front right. That'll be difficult. If you get front left, it's not all that bad. There's not many right turns, so it's going to get a big, almost hitting the walls. DPS's car's just pulled up a safe area. Mason getting a little bit closer to Primus, not using any ERS. Primus burnt all the ERS so far. Will Mason go for a dive? Opting out of it. If Mason uses a bit of ERS in this second straight along with the DRS that he will receive, he might be able to get moved a bit of a bumpy entrance and exit. Toxic ghosting through Mason now, very interesting from this game.
Yeah, that's the one problem with ghosting on. If you have lag issues or lag out during the formation lap and that, you'll be ghosted for most of the race. And it just means that you can ghost through most of the cars.
That's an issue for the stewards to sort out, I would say. This little train we've got going from Craigie Senna, Alco seems to have dropped off a little bit. Craigie Senna up to the first McLaren of Charismic. Charismic pulling a little bit of a gap actually off of his teammate Fish 6. Fish 6 doing a good job of holding these drivers up. A bit of team play.
You are right, Barry, he shouldn't be ghosting, but not something we can do about.
It's just a game. His teammate was ghosting. His teammates now stopped ghosting eventually. It's just, what can we do about it? I mean, we can't. Just, if you leave and you join back, well, and go, there's so many options, it probably won't work.
And did Science lag out?
The noob gamer.
He's ghosted and lost a lot of time. He didn't come from my screen, so let's invite him anyway.
The noob gamer. Got that damage, but looking like he's trying to hold up. Tell what the potential of the rain. He's got a 4-second gap to Charismatic, who's now pulled 2 seconds, almost free from Old Mandy, who looks like he's got a good run towards turn 1.
Mason up the inside of Primus as well for the lead. Slight bit of contact between the pair.
Fish Sticks remains in front. The Old Man to go for another move now. Craig's turning it in the pit. You see the clouds coming over
Oh,
now.
Mason's hit the wall! And that's cost him 3rd place. And he's got wing damage.
Yes. It's not all that bad if you notice it's the left side. And of course left is when you turn right you'll feel it, but it's only 3-4 right turns in this whole circuit. So he might be able to hold it out. I did have a bit of wing damage in my race and I didn't feel all that bad. Still turns right quite consistently. As he hits the wall in castle sector, did he get more damage? Nope, keeps his wing. Just losing that position out.
Yeah, he's got to be careful now.
But your call, I always ask Jeff how long to the rain, but it's never really that accurate. As Mason hits the wall again, he looks like he's really struggling with this damage. Also got quite old tyres on right now, could get swallowed up by Charismatic, who's gaining rather fast and pulling a good gap from his teammate who's done a good job of holding up Manzi.
It's a shame for Mason as well, because look how much ERS he had over the field as well.
Yeah, Primus gathered up to about 20% now. Toxic pulled that lead about 2 seconds now. I'm sure the stewards will have something to say about the ghosting. What's that? Jamie. Alcosense is disconnected, but doesn't look like he must have joined back. Both the racing points after a really good qualifying seem to have had problems. Charismatic just got past Mason. Mason struggling with his damage.
Further back as well, Old Manty and Fish Sticks still battling away, and Batten's still there in the background waiting for an opportunity here.
Yes, when there's 2 cars ahead battling, it's harder in this track especially. Gonna have to wait for that long straight and then make a decision.
It's funny how many different lines you can have around the track as well.
Yeah, there's very interesting as Mason, yeah, really struggling with that wing damage. Unfortunate after having a good shot at a podium, hopefully can bring himself back into contention.
Yeah, I think Mason's been hoping for a safety car, or the rain's come pretty soon with that damage. He's going to need so much time as well as the drivers behind catch him quite quickly now.
Fish Stick's got quite a lot of ERS over Old Manzi, and then Old Manzi with all that DRS, so he needs to catch up a little bit more, almost out of it, just to secure himself. And then Button just sitting behind, getting pulled along. He's running really low in ERS, using quite a lot to move and keep up.
About P3 now though.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Noob Gamer and Charismatic will have a run, I think. If you look at the Noob Gamer, he's got about 40-50% ERS, Charismatic about 15. The Noob Gamer certainly got things to defend with.
Mason's lost. Actually, he's not really lost any time yet. cars behind. It's still around about 5 seconds.
Maybe he's got into a flow of this damage. Cornish overtaking his teammate who looks like disconnected. Unfortunate.
I did invite him back, so.
Charismatic, a really good start, closing in on Nunub Gamer. I believe this will be Charismac's first podium of the season. I also think it will be the Noob Gamer's first podium of the season for Toxic, Podium and Primus regulars. Just need to join us at the end of the race. Button looks a bit closer to Old Manzi this time.
Yes, it depends if Old Man's using the RSF fish sticks or not. Depends if Button's really going to push this one.
Yeah, Old Manzi's just out this time. Button got DRS pushing. Charismatic gets past the Noob Gamer. Charismatic on a good run right here. You see it's getting really dark around this circuit now. Rain looking very soon.
Sun's fading away.
I'm interested to see how the drivers can transform from the dry to the wet, if some get wet setup on, dry setups. If it was me, the person that went for the dry setup, it was only about 10 laps maybe on wets.
I think I would have gone wet setup, because I was banking on a late safety car.
Oh, the Noob Game up, having a moment. Big lock up for him.
Oh, Toxic's out!
Toxic's crashed out.
No! The race leader is out. He's destroyed that car.
That car is mangled. That is unfortunate.
Yeah, huge lead. How does that not cause a safety car as well?
Yeah, the car's somewhat out the way, you could say. I'm also kind of glad it didn't cause a safety car, because last thing I want, I'm sure we'll hear from him in the chat in 2 seconds.
Oh, got another one off. Jamie's into the wall
Jamie.
as well. What is happening here at Castle?
Jamie really missed that break in there.
I wonder if that's track temperature there. Maybe it's changing.
Toxic just said my wheel just popped off. Sounds quite like F1. Button much closer this time to Manzi. Manzi back in DRS or fish sticks off. Toxic didn't even touch the wall. I mean, we did see in Div 2, I believe last week at Monaco, somebody just driving around and the car retired. Didn't touch it and just retired.
Ouch.
Can be horrible. Old Manzi closing in quite quickly on fish sticks now. Both in the same age of tyres. Manzi might have managed them better off.
Oh, we got the switchover period. It's going to start raining now. It came up my screen.
Yep, we just saw that there. I do believe they'll wait out for another lap before it's proper interless weather. You don't want to fit them too soon, they'll overheat and burn up.
Does depend though, because on this game, I love how they've changed it so it can pretty much hammer it down straight away and not otherwise. I think it's like
Still got
Spa.
about half the lap. Yep, still got about half the lap to go until
Jamie's rested
might
it.
see Primus. Jamie's already on them.
Yeah.
I have saw in the past quite a lot of drivers take that gamble. Primus, usually known for being good with the weather, and Zandvoort reflected the wets to the interless perfectly. So Mason Dunks just got past the Noob Gamer. Primus staying out.
Cornish got damaged.
But
I thought so. I saw M play at the castle section, didn't know what it was, but it was Cornish.
most drivers opting to stay out, I do believe they would. So Button closer and closer again to Old Manzi. It looks like he might come alongside this time. Both gaining on fish sticks quite rapidly though. And Button backing out.
Yeah, he's going to want to hurry up and get this move done before the weather really gets wet, depending which strong point is.
Yeah, I used to like the wet until I switched to medium traction. Cornish in the pit, probably for that wing damage and maybe to risk the
This might
inters.
cause a safety car.
Jamie's round, can you see that?
Yeah.
So he's also facing the wrong way.
This could cause safety car because he's had to do like a 10-point turn at Castle.
Cornish or softs? That is a very interesting strategy. Yep, Jamie just in the runoff area and out the way of the other driver.
How that's not
Unfortunate.
called safety car, I don't know.
Welcome to F1.
Yeah.
Oh, Mason almost hitting the wall under pressure in the gamer now. He'll be able to pit soon on them inters and get the damage fixed. How will the drivers adapt though to the weather? Looks like getting a lot oversteer.
In reality though,
Shit.
those softs do better in the wet than the mediums or the hards, I believe, unless it's mediums. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm watching Jamie and he looks like he's really struggling with these tyres. Look like they're really overheated and that.
That's the full lead though.
I don't think it's down to pit. Primus looks like he might go in. Primus taking that gamble, usually known for having a good prediction for the weather. Will Mason or the noob gamer follow in? Looks
Still
like Mason's going to
DRS
stay out. Yeah, that's usually the indication for most drivers, the DRS.
I'll be in Psycho's noob.
But
Turn 1, there's contact.
Jamie. Yeah, that's Jamie in as well for the tyres. Jamie retired unfortunately after that moment through Castle. Go on board with Primus real quick and see how the tyres look. I don't think the track's wet enough.
Yeah, it's still DRS. I think it's just a bit early for some of these guys.
Quite a lot of them following closely behind Primus, so as we do know him as a weatherman sometimes. I usually go when there's a spray in the track.
I just go
So it's
with
a bit rough.
tyres overheating and that.
Mason in the gamer looking if they're still struggling a little bit. Charismatic pulling a healthy gap. Will he go in this lap? Looks like he's got oversteer. Noob gamer crashed off just there. Mason ghosting through.
Wow.
You can see Primus catching up, but I don't see a balance. I feel like Primus is still struggling a little bit.
Chris Mix almost lost the car there. He's gotta be careful.
Oh. Mason and the Noob Gamer going side by side, don't recommend it. The car goes right into the wall. Mason almost crashed it. Noob Gamer hit the wall a little bit. Yeah, I think these front guys will be pitting soon. Mason looks like he's really struggling. Primus taps the wall though.
Yeah, that could have been costly. And Celis has hit the wall.
How's Cornish doing in them tyres?
Chris Mixon.
I do believe the Noob Gamer and Mason probably will fall behind us. Primus is going to go up the inside of Mason. Will that obstruct Mason from getting into the pit?
Still
Mason slows in a little bit.
DRS.
Oh!
Oh, he's crashed
Noob
into
Gamer
the
hitting
pit
the wall.
lane.
Charismatic coming out just in front of Primus.
So,
Doesn't matter, nailed this.
yeah, the cut was the way to go then.
Most drivers getting a little bit of wing damage and that sorted.
This is the switchover period now.
Yeah, it's looking, you can see a little bit of spray and that popping up now. Still looks very tough for these drivers. I think quite a lot of them might have the dry setup on.
Yeah, now you're going to really see who has a wet and dry setup and who's really used to rain and who's not around this track.
Button, the fish sticks both gained from this as Manzi, as the Noob Gamer and Mason both fell back after hitting a little bit late.
Noob's just hit the wall. I think that's going to give him line damage. There's no visual damage, so I'm assuming it's line, but I don't know. It shouldn't affect him in the wet.
Yeah, but then you still feel like Mason taking it nice and tight. Still looking quite healthy on this. Noob Gamer looking rather slow. Struggling. The McLaren's both in good contention here for a 1-3. It's big for the McLaren team. Although Fish Stick's getting followed up by Button.
Still no penalties though.
I would say it's quite hard to gather a penalty around here.
You always expect the odd 1 or 2 people to get them though.
Yeah, you could say so. It's Mason and the noob gamer closing up in the back of Button, who's closing up in the back of Fish Sticks, roughly. It's going to be a battle for P3 and it could be a good one. How will they handle the fast west right? It's very different in the rain compared to the dry. And both Ferrari and McLaren looking quite good in this race. Although the gap to the front two is 19 seconds. Front two nailed this.
Yeah, and Ace Karasmik has gained an extra half second on Primus. Was 1.5 seconds, now 2 seconds.
This is when the race might get a little bit more boring, as we might not see as many moves, but hopefully. I mean, a safety car now would be nice, you know. Bring it up together and make the race interesting, like when you want it to happen, but most drivers are assuming we're taking everything nice and cautiously just to finish the race with a battle for tenths, but Alco saying it's disconnected obviously, so Chris should have that P10 in the bag.
I quite like watching the cars in the wet. It might seem boring, but when you're driving these cars, it feels absolutely phenomenal and amazing.
Round Spa in the wet, probably the best track for wets. Very challenging, and likes of a Rouge and that, and Radeon.
Does depend.
I mean, I haven't done it since I switched to medium track, so it might have changed quite a lot, hopefully not. Used to quite like it.
Primus
Both
is really pushing.
Ferrari's gaining up, the Button tapping the wall just there. The noob gamer going up the inside of his teammate. And they're both going to fight this out.
Don't hit each other, guys. You are teammates.
Don't go too wide down here. Oh, Chris went 3-second time penalty.
That's a bit too soon about the
Corner
penalties.
It can come a bit easier. I mean, that brings Primus into the #1 position currently. Noob gamer on Button though, but quite a lot of ERS opting not to use it.
Yeah, that's interesting. He's waiting for the next. Oh, dive bomb.
Forcing his teammate wide almost, did his teammate hit the wall there? I'm not too sure, looks like he might have got away without any damage. That then brings Mason into the equation, and Mason got quite a lot of ERS, burning quite a lot of it to try and keep up with these two.
This condition's very tricky.
Indeed.
Big look
Especially
up
around
for
a
me.
street circuit.
Yeah.
You see Mason getting all that splash off a Button's
Oh!
car, the noob gamer.
Yeah. If you turn the track dangerously, slightly, that's going to affect his teammate's exit, and Mason's going to get the run on his team, eh?
Round the outside. Mason smartly, I believe, cuts in the back, gets pushed into the back of Button though.
Ah,
Ferrari's boxing him in.
Yeah. Good bad for Mason there.
I just heard a car hit the wall, was that? It's a Fish Sticks, but he seems alright.
I don't know which
Castle
car that
sections.
was.
Castle section can be quite hard in the dry, let alone the wet.
I will say though, Noob did get damaged, so I wonder if Mason will come back.
Yep, Noob going very close to the wall there again. Looks like he really wants to get this move done in his teammate, but like patient I would recommend, it's a team game.
Patience with these drivers? What is this?
It's virtual.
Oh, Cornish style.
Cornish.
Wow, castle.
Yep, you can just see his car. That's unfortunate, that brings all drivers into the equation for points here.
Oh, why was it a safety car?
But rather than any drive-throughs, both Ferraris looking quite racy. Mason backed off a little bit. Mason in Spain had the option, the chance for a podium, but then got a drive-through. Just hope most drivers will back off a little bit, take their time, not get a drive-through.
I just sent a phone notification, I don't know how. on Xbox, but I've just had a phone notification. That's weird. Bizarre things.
Charismatic has pulled that gap up now. Oh, the noob gamer drive through.
And you know why? Because you've got such a good run on button.
His teammate lets him pass, I'm pretty sure his teammate will notice now that he will have to serve that. He's lucky that wasn't in the next lap, I believe it would have been.
Oh, he's in the
wall. He hits the wall again.
Same place as before.
Really unfortunate for the noob game. I believe he will drop back to P7 now. He's still going wide again. Coming straight back onto the track right in front of Mason.
Yeah, Mason needs to be careful and a bit patient.
Yeah, it's just take his time, and he'll have to pit eventually. If he doesn't pit soon, then he will obviously get that bigger penalty. He'll hit the wall again,
he's out.
And yep, he's out.
Ah.
Will that be a safety car? I believe it's too late for a safety car.
Yeah, I believe it's a bit late.
I think it's 4 laps to go and that's it. The equation away. Oh, virtual again.
Okay then.
So, any more drive-throughs?
Well, hopefully not, but we'll see. Pressure is on his Cosmic at the minute. He has to keep that 3-second gap.
Oh, he's done quite oh man, see with the drive-through this time. That clears Mason's back up a little bit. And Mason chased in Button and potentially maybe it's a little P4. Conditions have changed quite a lot again. The track's looking getting wetter and wetter.
Yeah, just you say that, Senna's hit the wall now as well. Again.
Yes. I'm saying now, most drivers, if it was me, just stick it out, only 2 laps to go, you're still getting points for your team.
Yeah, Manzi into the pit lane.
Serve that.
Well, he hasn't served it, he's actually pitted.
Interesting.
So he has to make another pit stop. I think he crashed into the pit lane because saw yellow flags. And that's obviously forced him to then box rather than do his drive-through. That's going to really frustrate him.
If he doesn't serve it the next lap, he'll probably get a 20-second time penalty. Either that, he'll get disqualified.
That's going to make an interesting battle between him and Chris then after his next drive-through.
Charismatic losing a little bit of time to prime, it's only 9/10 now. Charismatic looks like he's pushing with the ERS, trying to get away. And Primus behind looking quite fast. Is Charismatic getting any damage?
The difference between the smooth Charismatic and the Primus absolutely going for it.
It's almost 3/10 through that little part. I'm trying to see if Charismatic's getting any damage. It doesn't look like it. Maybe he's just not too confident in this condition.
There's a bit of an ERS difference this minute of time as well.
No, at the time though, both McLarens looking good for the points here. Just what the team needs.
So it's 23 seconds between Old Manzi and Chris. That battle, it's gonna be, I don't know how long you lose in a pit lane round here for a drive-through.
17 seconds.
17 seconds. Chris really pushes.
Mason looks like he's catching up to the back of Button. Also only 1 lap after this, into the
Yeah, I think it's just about out of time.
Through. You never know what can happen. Unfortunately, it's happened quite a lot during this race. Cornish and the noob game are both losing out to the castle section.
1.5 tenths separate Charisma, well, it's Charisma and Primus from this win.
Yep, hope Primus take it, I'm pretty sure he'll want it. As we always say, Primus at the start of the season, he wanted this to be his season. He wants to be up there and he's certainly looking like it from the start that he's had.
Yeah, 10.4 between Chris and Andy, so Chris could still put some pressure on.
Yeah, you could do and maybe try and get that move position.
Be a confidence boost if he does.
Look, indeed.
Mason versus Button then.
Mason backing off there, not too confident. Alright, we're on the last lap. Resmic stuck to a strategy quite well. Managed to, in the safety car, get right to the front in the hards, and after Toxic crashed, took that lead on inters, and then from there, well, he does have to make a three tenths up.
This is going to be very tight.
It will be. Doesn't makes it through castle section. Primus also makes it through castle section. A bit of a slide from Primus in the exit. Oh, Charismatic in the wall.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's going to hurt him a little bit. Couple quarters to go. Can he do this?
Charismac's really going to push in this last bit. 2 tenths now. Can he get another 2 for the last couple? Down to 3 tenths. Primus pushing really hard.
And Mason is really close onto the back of Button as well, so this is going to be a good last lap between those boys as well.
Oh. Primus hit the wall, got wind damage, but I don't think that will affect him. Looks like on track. Charismatic
He's not using
cross
overtake.
the line. Charismatic crosses the line in first. Primus will take that position.
Nah.
A good race from the top two so far as we now wait for Fish Sticks, Button, Mason. Both relatively close, just not close enough to make a move.
Yeah, what
Hopefully
if
they can all
Mason's
make it
made a
round.
mistake here? Because he was right on the back of Button.
Anyway, Fish Sticks giving a little bit of a weave. Pushing up to the line, that'll be Fish Sticks for P3, double for McLaren. RSF1 Button, P4, Mason, P5. Craigie Senna coming round into the final sector.
Interesting how many front wings are broken in this race.
Yeah, it can be really easily done. I mean, I did say 4 folk for the castle sector, only seemed to claim 2. Well, technically 3 if you count Toxic, whose wheel just popped off, but just didn't get that in the money. Anyway, Craigie Senna to the line, he'll grab P6. Old Man's unfortunately got a drive through, compromising at least position play from Craigie Senna. Anyway, down the straight he goes for P7. There we go. And then a bit further back up, we've got Chris and the other Haas. Oh, the Haas securing some points for the team, swaying a little bit. Wouldn't do that too much, you don't want to crash out. Anyway,
Yeah.
there we go.
Damage limitation, I think.
Yeah. Great race from all there. Driver of the day from the game goes to Craigie Senna. Of course, hop over to Racing Series F1 on Twitter and vote for the driver of the day when that gets popped up. Primus takes home the win today with the 2 McLarens, second and third. Good result for McLaren in the end. If you could invite Primus, Fish Sticks and Charismatic, please.
Yeah, I would. I'm just getting the screenshots, and then I will invite them.
Thank you.
And they've all been invited, so.
And they come, we've got 1 driver. Hopefully the other two will join us. I do believe Primus will join us. And hopefully we can get Charismic in. Anyway, first place Primus, second place Charismic, and third place Fish Sticks. 17 started, only 9 finished. Unfortunate for some.
Very lucky for others.
Yeah, very lucky for others.
Got 2 of our drivers.
Yep, just give Charismic, give him 20 more seconds, hopefully he can join us.
If not, we could maybe message him, see what he wants to say in the interview.
Yeah, would you like to do second and first, or do you like to do second or first?
I'll do second.
You can take that away.
Alright.
Technically third, but
Technically
Fish Sticks. Just make sure you get the audio included. Fish Sticks.
Yep.
Alright.
Take it away.
Fish Sticks, that was an impressive race there. You led a couple of laps towards the end there, and then penalty obviously messed you up. Guess you're a little bit frustrated about that one.
It was Charismic with the penalties. To be honest, I didn't really have any pace. I knew it was going to be wet at the end, and I was just hoping that I could be in a place and sort of make the most of the situation. And I've kind of got third, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try and keep it in lean, keep the gap, and keep it out of the wall. And that was literally it. Those last laps, it was a bit slippy, but other than that, I'm proper happy with that. Going for a track I don't really like, it's a nice bit of points.
Yeah, do you think that's going to help you in the championship moving forwards?
Yeah, like I say, I've only had 9 points up to now, so I've basically doubled it now. So hopefully I can build on this.
Yeah, well, in the end, great points for the McLaren team in the end. If I could ask your opinions on Canada for next week.
I think it's going to be down to penalties on the last corner. Other than that, I think we're all going to be relatively equally paced. I think quite a nice track to race at, but no, it's a hard one on penalties. So I think that's where is going to be won and lost on. I think.
Yep. Well, hopefully you can get another chance at another podium next week on. Anyway, congratulations on your third.
Right, cheers.
Primus, are you there?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Another week, another day in the box. P1 in the end, but 3-4 attempts, you got that by there. A very good drive in the end. How did you feel?
God, brilliant, man. That was hard. That was actually hard. I can't believe I did that. P11, crap qualifying. I just aimed to take the hards as far as I could, because the game likes to say, 45 minutes time will be rain, and in reality it's going to be 20, like our time. I figured it was a gamble between taking on mediums or hards, but in the end, I didn't want to chance it just in case the rain actually was 45 minutes away, which it was, so I gambled on the hard tyre. The racing points kind of made a couple of muddle ups. Cornish had problems earlier on, and then Alco decided to stay out way too late on those soft, which I knew would buy him in the back. But then after that it was me, Mason Dunks, and Charismics for a while. Then Charismics had a problem, he had the box. Then Mason Dunks had a problem, he had the box. MW just ghosted straight through me through a castle. I had no idea how the hell he was able to overtake me, but he had a ghosting bug, so he was permanently ghosted. But it didn't matter, he DNF'd anyways. At the end there with the inters on, my setup this is last year's setup that I never actually got to use, because last year it didn't actually let me start because I had a game bug which basically disabled my throttle and gearbox. So I had no idea how this setup would perform in the race, and then fish started to pull away. I struggled with traction through the castle coming out, and then not fish, charismix. Yeah, sorry, so I'm too confused. Yeah. Anyways, near the end though, I noticed I managed to cut down a full second on him, and then one thing I knew, I was half a second, away from beating him, and on the very last moment, I hit the wall, damaged my wing, but he had a problem as well. Like he had a little wobble, and then that let me take the win. And tell you, I'm lost for words. I've had such a terrible few weeks. I lost my nan 3 weeks ago. My dog got put down last Friday, and I've been in the worst mindset. And to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix that's massively lifted me, man.
Yeah, it would do indeed. I mean, I believe that puts you in first place with 2 points in the
That's it.
championship battle. I think so.
At 66 points. MW, I don't know how many points MW actually had. I don't know if I'll actually take the lead. I really don't know.
If you don't, you'll be very close behind looking into Canada anyway. Canada, your thoughts and opinions on that track?
That's a good question. Yeah, I'll be second. I just checked. I'll be second, but just behind him. I don't like Canada. It's quite a difficult circuit, so my aim for Canada is to just stay in the top 10 and get some consistent points. But then again, I'm at my goal for today, and I just took the frickin' win. So
Yeah. I mean, Canada, one of those tracks can also bring rain in quite quickly, and that horrendous last chicane, horrendous for some, great for others.
you know
Pick
what?
up penalties quite easily.
You know what's just scared me? I've just been sweating like crazy the past couple of laps, and then as I'm just like, having this interview, I looked to my left and it instantly just found a can of Lynx. I think the world's trying to tell me something.
Well, anyway, congratulations to both of you drivers on your podiums this week. But from us at Azerbaijan, that's it. You can join